All right, everybody, welcome to Prana. It is so wonderful to see all of your faces. If you feel called, you can turn on your camera for a little bit. It'd be great to see everybody here who's in the space. If you can't, all good too. Happy to be here with every single one of you tonight, and I'll just let people in as need be as people filter into the space. But just want to say welcome. And tonight is a really special journey that I'm going to be taking you on. So I ran this class, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and had a lot of really beautiful reception from it. People really enjoyed it, but I refined it. And just like anything that I do in my own work, is all about refinement and elevating myself through that process. And so I've refined this presentation tonight and this training and this journey that I'm going to be taking you on, and I feel it's in a much better place. So we're going to get started here and drop in to a quick meditation before we go into the actual training. So just going to give you a little bit of a rundown what's happening tonight. Zach, what's up, man, from Ecuador? We got people from all over the world tonight. Saw London, Amsterdam, we got Ecuador, we got Brazil, we got Mexico. I'm in Mexico. So it's nice to see the representation of everybody that is here. So again, I'm going to just give you a little bit of a quick agenda of what to expect. You're definitely going to want a pair of headphones because I will be taking you through an actual live breathwork journey tonight. That will be the second part of this evening. The first part is really just providing you with the tools, the practices, the resources in order to really empower yourself and come back to your own power. And that's really the intention of everything I do, is to not fix you, not change you, not tell you what to do, but rather offer you perspective and offer you a few tools that you can use in your own life to empower yourself and come back home to your authenticity, your wholeness. And again, just like any of my other presentations, that's what tonight is all about for me. So we'll be going through the training for about 45 minutes, and then we'll go into a breathwork journey, which is about 35 minutes or so. And then we'll have time for hopefully a quick group share to really close down the space and bring people back together and integrate the energies that we've shared tonight. So that is that. And if you have any questions throughout, you can drop it in the chat. I'll be trying to monitor that. Soon enough, I'm going to need somebody to help me with this so I can look at all the tools we have going on. But I will do the best I can looking at the chat. And what I would actually ask you now is, if you do have a pair of headphones, it'd be best to get it, because I'm going to take you through a short, brief meditation to kind of open the space and bring us into presence. So I'll give you just a moment if you need to grab those, and we'll just go through a short meditation to open the space up tonight. I'll just ask you guys just to get in a comfortable position, seated position. And you can just begin to close down your eyes. Tune in with your breath. Breathing in and releasing. Again, deep breath in through the nose. And breathing out of your mouth. Just continuing to follow that breath. We're going to move our awareness to the top of our head, to our crown. You can imagine this white, golden light shining down into the top of your head. Moving into the front of your forehead. Relaxing this area. Breathing and allowing this light to move down to your jaw. Unclenching, softening your jaw, letting go of any stress, of any tension. Moving your awareness down to your neck, to your shoulders, letting go of any weight, any tightness, any tension. Letting go of today's worries and stresses. And just allowing this light to further move down your hands into your fingers. Shaking off any excess energy, anything you've been carrying. And we'll move back up the forearms, up the back of the arms, back around your shoulders to your chest. Taking a few conscious breaths into your heart space. Softening, opening your heart to receive. Letting go of any tightness or resistance. We'll move this light, this breath down to our belly, into our navel. Allowing our inhale to expand. And allowing you to release on your exhale. Focusing that light in your navel, your power center. Aligning the three sacred centers of your sacral, your heart, and your third eye. We'll move around to our back, scanning, releasing tension, letting go. Moving down your hips, into your thighs, hamstrings. Down into your knees, releasing, letting go. Around to the back and your calves, your shins, moving this light further down. Into your ankles. To the top of your feet. Into the bottom of your soles, cleansing, releasing. now moving this light all the way down, 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 down to the core of the earth. Allowing it to be anchored into the crystalline structure of the earth. Grounding your body into Gaia. And like a rocket ship, we're going to shoot this light all the way up, 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 beyond the body, beyond the crown, all the way up, 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 to the heavens, to the star of your higher self. To the ship of your soul. Feeling the connection between your heaven and your earth. And lastly, we'll move this energy back down, 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 down to your heart space. Breathing in and breathing out. Welcome to Prana. You can begin now, just open your eyes slowly and come back into this space. Alrighty. It's an honor to be here and to see all your faces. And I am excited to get started. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through a little bit of the presentation. Again, questions come up, feel free just to throw them in the chat. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more centered, more present for today. Okay, so we are at this interesting point right now where a lot of us are finding that we're at a crossroad, and perhaps you can relate to this. A lot of people I know are going through a major life transition. I myself have been through many, but feel that there's this greater thing that is happening right now. See more and more people wanting to really live in alignment with their heart and their soul, and to move beyond the constructs and the structures that have been put in place to limit this expression of our soul and to do what it is we want to do in our lives. And I feel that there's an interesting apex that we're sort of heading towards, and perhaps we've already reached it in some sort, but it's time for all of us to begin waking up even further to our power that is within us. And this is a continuous process. This is why we've come to this earth realm, is to learn and to grow and to step into our truth and our true nature. And so really the reason I do what I do is to help people access these various parts of themselves, specifically that authentic part, that authentic self that is buried within, beyond the layers of conditioning and programming and all of that. And my intention is, and my goal is, that through this experience tonight that we can shed more layers and open up deeper to who we are. And prana is the life force energy that runs through you. It runs through all of us. And it is that energy that is always available, and it's through the breath that we can fully tap into that. And when we tap into that, something magical transpires in our life. We are able to tap into a limitless state that harnesses all of the wisdom that we hold within ourselves. And so tonight, maybe you will touch some of that and feel some of that. Okay, so just a quote to start off with. Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as a means to take hold of your mind again. You know, the breath is the all-encompassing life force energy that not only is with us, but with all living things. And when we connect with this energy, we are not only enhancing a part of ourselves, but all of our reality. And, you know, it sounds from an outsider's perspective, just listening to this conversation, it could sound like silly, oh, your breath. But like the breath has so much power, and not only from a metaphysical standpoint, from a scientific standpoint. And we're going to kind of bridge both of those worlds tonight, the science and the spirit. And so, as I was talking about in the beginning, right now we're at this interesting point where we live in this 3-second world. There's just information upon information, and the addictions that we have to our devices and social media and all of these things, it just keeps us in a place where it feels like at times our world is just spinning so fast. And it could be hard to find that groove, that rhythm to slow down, to come into presence and awareness, especially with all of the distractions happening. So it's so important to use the tools that have been given to us and really tap into them. Because from the outside, the breath is just the breath. It keeps us alive. But from the inside and really tuning in with this power, we can literally transform every single aspect of your life. And this is why I'm so passionate about it, because it's done so many miraculous things for me. And I want to show you how, and the same things. So basically right now, again, we're at this point where everything's changing. Relationships, finances, every aspect of our life is changing. And really, it's up to us to tune in with ourselves, see what's real and honest for us, and then move in that direction of our soul and our heart to, you know, really limit the amount of stress and tension, anxiety that we feel on an everyday level. And just want to tell you a little bit about, you know, my journey and how I got started into this. I'm not going to give you the whole story because it's not about me. It's more about giving you what you need, the tools to empower you. But just to kind of give you a little bit of a context to why I enjoy having this conversation and talking about this. There's something that happened within me 8-9 years ago, a very visceral shift that transpired while I was living in the villages of Tanzania, Africa. I was there for 2 years. I was serving as a Peace Corps volunteer, grassroots organization, and I was living in this spot of pure beauty and nature, very far removed from major cities, and it was probably one of the most rewarding yet challenging times of my life. For the first time, I had nothing but the choice to slow down and to come back to presence, because I didn't know what that was like. I was in the corporate world, working my ass off, partying on the weekends, doing all of these things that were great at the time, but you know, it started to drain me. And so to come back into pure nature with no electricity, no running water, all of these things, and living super primal, I had no choice but to go within myself. And I had to face some shit. I had to face some fear, some pain that I was holding on to. And it wasn't always an easy process, but it was, again, the most rewarding process and journey that I've ever taken. And it was through this that I've discovered different ways of enhancing and elevating myself and healing myself on deep cellular level. And one of those technologies is the breath. I was doing a lot of Kundalini yoga, and in Kundalini, there's breath of fire is what is a common practice that they use. So I was doing this every day, and I was seeing like how things were changing. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Not only physically, mentally, emotionally, where I was like in a better mood, I was able to be more focused. I was in peace. I felt this deep inner peace that I had never really touched before. So I'm like, okay, there's something to this. And so my journey took me further, and I began studying this, researching it, going through courses, going through trainings over, the past 8 years plus years now. And it's taken me and so many others that I know to just a whole nother level of being. And again, that is a brief story of how I got into it and now why I share it. And so the breath is the greatest skill that I've ever learned. And I'm still finding new ways how to use my breath to reach higher states of awareness, of consciousness, but also to really transmute some of the dense emotions and the energy that I think we've all been experiencing. There's been a lot of density and also pain that has come up. We're clearing so much personally and for the collective. And the breath is really such a wonderful tool to be able to assist you in that process. And again, part of the reason I want to share this with you. And so we breathe, and this might not be new to you, but just for those that are, we breathe about, on average, there's 23,040 breaths a day. Can you imagine that? 23,000 breaths per day, 960 breaths an hour. And that's over 8 million in a year. So we are breathing because it's an automatic function of the body. It's something that we do, and thank God we do, or else we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. If you didn't have your breath, we wouldn't be on this call talking and me sharing this with you. So the breath is that life force. It's what keeps you alive in this human body right now. But it is, again, much more than that. And that's why I want to share what that more is. Being alive, let's all be grateful for that and appreciative of this human experience that we're having. But how can we take this human experience and take it to the next level? And that's what I want to share with you tonight, is how to do that and what that can do for you when you start to consciously work with your breath. And again, I'll share with you some very simple practices that you can take away from this and implement into your life. And I can guarantee you, just by doing that, things will change. But I'm going to share a little bit more than that. Okay, I'm not going to go super deep into like what breathwork is, because I guarantee that most people on here, because I know a lot of you know what breathwork is, so I don't want to like just get caught up and say, no, this is what, but I will give it just a little bit of a rundown. So in my way, and how I define it, breathwork in the simplest, most effective way is to transform and optimize your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's literally just active meditation, just concentrated on deep rhythmic breathing over an extended period of time. And the breath work that I facilitate, which you'll get to experience tonight if you haven't already, is called sonic breath work, and it melds and fuses together the primordial forces of breath and sound. And through this sort of weaving together, it creates this new entity in a way, this new level, this new consciousness that when infused and when you breathe to the beats, to the music, and the beats are tuned to all these different solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats. And I might be speaking Spanish to some of you right now, but there's a lot of power in frequency and sound. And so when you have sound and breath come together, it creates a powerhouse. And this is why so many people over the hundreds of journeys that I've facilitated have come to me and said, what has happened? It's like, I've experienced this, and this is like, I didn't think this was even possible. And I get messages literally almost every single day. And it's a joy to receive them, because I see people's worlds shifting from the power of this breath work that I facilitate. And I'm just glad and happy to be a conduit for that. And so breath work has evolved. I'm not going to get too much into the history because I want to get into the heal, the awaken, and the manifest part of really what this is all about and what I want to talk about. But just to give you a little history, breath work has been around for thousands of years in ancient yogic times. And, the Vedic texts speak about breath work and pranayama. And so this technology of like understanding how to work with your breath and all of that consciously and with awareness, it's been around for a very long time. But it really started to pop off in the Western world in the 1970s when Stanislav Grof came through with holotropic breathwork, which is more of a shamanic style of breathwork. It's a little bit faster paced, and it's really powerful for clearing trauma, and really all of this is. But that is really beautiful for that, and also reaching these deeper shamanic states. There's rebirthing, there's Wim Hof, there's clarity, there's so many that are out there, and this is just a few. But some of you probably have tried Wim Hof. Wim Hof really brought it really mainstream as of recent. And again, it all really comes down to just pranayama and different rhythms of breathing. And that's really all it is. They're all kind of one and the same in many ways, but people have different rhythms, different music they're putting into it, and all of that. We've just created something a little bit different. So with our own style, me and Johnny, who is not here today. And just to kind of highlight types of breathing. So there's, like I was saying, there's just really rhythm. Slow breathing, fast breathing. Slow breathing will keep you relaxed. If you're breathing in a 4-8 breath, if you do that multiple times, you're really switching on your parasympathetic nervous system, which we'll talk about tonight, and the power of your nervous system to really shift your state into a more calm, centered, grounded place. Then there's fast breathing, which is breath of fire, holotropic, these shamanic states of breath work, which are going to be like, breath of fire is in and out of the noses. And you're pumping your diaphragm. That style of breath work is going to increase your cortisol levels, not in a bad way, but it keeps you like really focused. It boosts your energy and can get you into some pretty wild and altered states. So there's these two different types here, and that's it. Slow or fast really is what it comes down to. Okay, one more quote from Stanislav Grof. Since earliest times, virtually every major psycho-spiritual system seeking to comprehend human nature has viewed breath as a crucial link between nature, the human body, the psyche, and the spirit. It is that bridge. It's what connects everything together. It connects all of us, all living things. It connects us with the earth. Go into the earth and breathe, and you can actually feel the rhythm of the earth if you get deep enough. I do a lot of breathwork journeys and facilitate it outside when people are laying in the grass, and it just takes people to a whole nother level, because that connection with the earth and nature is something that many of us have lost over time. And when we can tune into the subtleties of nature and the earth that speaks to us through our breath, it's a very powerful experience. So definitely recommend going outside and breathing in the ground. Okay, so we're going to get to the first part of tonight of the presentation. So there's part one, which is, well, I guess this is maybe part two, if you want to consider that. So it's heal. And the second part after that is awaken, and then manifest. So we're going to talk more like a little bit more science in this part of it, where we'll get into a little bit of like the science, and then also we'll bridge it with the spirit of really how this works on your body, your somatic vessel. Okay, so the two things here is nervous system. Is your nervous system, and I'm not going to get too deep into the science because this could go really deep, and I don't want to get too heady tonight. I just want to be more in the heart space. I'm just going to kind of go over this. But the nervous system keeps and holds all of the memory of everything you've ever experienced. And so when you were children from 0 to 7, that's being the most crucial cycle of our upbringing. There's so much that is imprinted into us from those ages. And so any pain or trauma that you've experienced between 0 and 7, which is when I work with clients one-on-one and in my coaching practice, we always revisit those ages because that is when the imprints happen. And so we work somatically to take and release those imprints and clear them. So people I've experienced and worked with who've had some really intense traumatic experiences have been able to release and let go of these experiences through working somatically one way through the breath. And so most of us are operating from a state of fight or flight. We're in stress all the time because we're doing. So the opportunity here is to come more into being and feel that truth from within you. And so the nervous system, when we switch from a fight or flight state, sympathetic, to a parasympathetic, we become more present, more grounded. And you don't have to go through a journey, which I'm going to take you through tonight. Literally, you can take 3 minutes and get yourself into a parasympathetic state. And I'll share with you a practice that I use to do that. Because the more you're operating from that state, you're making better decisions. You're going to be way more focused. You're going to feel so much more inner peace and less stress, anxiety, depression. And you're really going to, find that sort of creativity, which is very powerful when you get into the flow of creative, like any sort of creative practice. It's very, very powerful. So the nervous system holds everything. So it's really retuning and recalibrating this system in order for us to open up. Second thing physically that happens within our brains is this brainwave coherence. So we reach a state of coherence. And if you tune into any of Joe Dispenza's work, he talks a lot about heart coherence, which we'll touch on a little bit. But with brainwave coherence, oftentimes, in our waking state, we're operating from beta, unless you're like, some of like a deep advanced meditator, or you're a monk, and you meditate all day, you're most likely going to be operating from beta, which is an alert state. Okay. And then, people that meditate and are advanced, though, are going to be operating more from alpha, which is kind of creativity and moving more into flow. But today, when I take you through the journey, you're going to be going into theta. And theta is that meditative, intuitive state. It's really opens you up to a deeper level of awareness. And so what the breath does is once you start breathing and going deeper, you move from beta to alpha to theta. Some people move to delta and pass out. I've seen a lot of people that are really stressed and have a lot of anxiety and have like really overactive nervous systems. Sometimes these journeys, even if the more upbeat ones that I facilitate, they'll put them to sleep. So it just depends. And if you do, your body needs it. You trust it. Now, some of the fast-paced breath work, you can go move up to gamma, which is like peak states. A lot of athletes that are in the zone, or musicians, or anybody that is performing anything, sometimes they'll move into gamma states where it's more expanded. And I've reached gamma states facilitating breath work. I'm just like in the flow and move into a higher state. And I'm starting to do tests with people with their brain waves to really show this, but there's so much science behind this if you want to look it up. I just want to I'm not going to get too deep into trauma healing because it's a huge topic, but I just want to kind of help people understand on how they're going to release things tonight. And how you're going to move through these stages of anything. It could be something really small. A trauma isn't always something huge. We've experienced micro and macro traumas throughout our life. So I don't want to make this to be like a huge event. It could be maybe something you're going through from your childhood that you're still healing. But I don't want to mistake that, it can be micro things too that you seemingly don't feel like they would be, but they're stuffed into our body. So what happens? We experience an event, okay? Whether as a child, an adult, whatever it is. This could be an event or a threat from our environment, parents, teachers, peers, something that happened to us. Then we move, and from that, our cortisol increases and our nervous system goes into a sympathetic state. So we go into a state of sort of protection, right? So something happens to us, we go into survival and we protect ourselves. So we do whatever we can to protect ourselves. This is like the first wall that's built, right? And this would be then translated to then, increasing our stress and all of that, which then again puts our nervous system into a sympathetic state. Again, we're in survival mode. And if we're not taught properly, most of us have not, since we've been kids, we've any sort of emotional wound, physical wound, anything that's happened to us, we often suppress it and we don't know how to express it fully because our parents never taught us, unless you have very conscious parents. I would guarantee that 99% of the people that I've met, have had this experience where, they've been told that it's not right to express or go to your room or whatever. The parent is triggered by the emotional expression of a child, but we're designed to move this through our body. We're not designed to hold it. We're designed to move it. I watched my 3-year-old son, and it's a beautiful process for me to witness his tantrum. When he goes down, he throws down. Today he let out one of the loudest yells I've ever heard. And it was this yell of rage that just came out of him. And it was interesting because every time this happens, it triggers a little bit more in me of like, oh, where am I holding on to anger or rage within myself? So it's good medicine, but allowing him to fully express it. And then after, he'll melt and he'll just melt into my arms or my partner's arms and, just kind of be there. But then a few minutes later, he'll start playing. So allowing a child to express in this way, it moves the energy. It doesn't get stuck. But for most of us, we weren't fortunate enough to grow up in a household. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means because, I'm still human, but allowing my son to express in the way he does, ideally, these emotions are moving through him, but for most of us, we kept them stuck in different parts of our body. So the point of this somatic practice and working with the breath is to really release this. And so again, from the suppression, we go into an altered state of breathing. I guarantee you that most people, I wouldn't say that guarantee you, but I know that most people are either in a short, fast-paced breathing rhythm, because I work with a lot of people. You can tell just by the way they're breathing on what they're experiencing internally. And it's either that or holding the breath. Most people that are stressed and anxious, they hold their breath a lot. So you might even notice if you start to become conscious of your breath throughout the day while you're doing something, sometimes you might notice that you're holding your breath. This is holding on to tension. It's not moving it. If you watch a baby breathe, it's rhythmic, it's smooth, it's full belly breathing. But again, as we get older, we have these things happen to us. We begin to hold on and clench. And so all that energy never really gets moved fully. And then we get into the sort of physical imprint. So this is when it moves into our bodies, which then causes the stress, the tension, the anxiety, the depression, whatever it is. It moves into us and it stays within us unless we release it. And so the 6th stage then is we move from a state of limitation, ideally to a state of liberation, where the breath offers this pathway to release this accumulated energy. There's other ways of releasing it. There's beautiful movement practices and all of that, different types of psychotherapy and all of that to move these things. But the breath really is such a powerful force for allowing this to be released. And I've seen some radical healings transpire from people when they begin to release the emotional, energetic imprints that are within them. I've seen some pretty amazing releases from people, and it's really special every time to witness that. And so this is the opportunity to anything that you might be carrying that's holding you back to fully release that. And that doesn't have to be a trauma, so to say. It could be a belief. It could be a pattern. It could be a story, an attachment, a judgment that you're holding on to. Whatever it is, it can be released through the breath because the breath will guide you to exactly where you need to be. So that is a little bit about, the healing that can take place. Now it's also from an emotional, mental perspective, I name some of the benefits, but really when we breathe, we change our state. When you change your breathing pattern, you change your state fully, and we can use the breath to hack into our nervous system, our brain, and our immune system, and we can use the breath to choose our state, which oftentimes, because of the imprints, because of the shadows, the things that we've been experiencing as a soul living in this human body, is that not only do we suppress these things, but it really, through the suppression comes out the fear, the worry, the doubt, the lower frequencies that we experience within our mind. And so the breath can take you above that. It can break you out of these cycles, these patterns, these loops that we find ourselves in. Because I know myself, I've gone through and still do mental loops. But I find that they've very much subsided, and I'm more present in my life and more aware if something does pop up, that I can work with it almost right away because of the awareness through the breath that I've created. So there's a lot of potential. Okay. And again, if I'm going, I know I'm kind of pacing myself right now. If you have questions, put it in the chat, or perhaps even share your experience with the breath. Are you new to working with the breath? And perhaps I should have asked that in the beginning. But I'll move on to the second part, which is awaken. So this is more of the metaphysical part of it, but there is a lot of science behind it that is backed now around what we're going to discuss. Okay, so the pineal gland, which is in your third eye, which sits in the middle of your forehead, just above your eyebrows, this pineal gland that we've been told many things about, but oftentimes through diet, through water, through experiences of trauma, this gland, which happens to be one of the most important glands in your entire body, has been calcified and almost like switched off, deactivated in a way. And so the breath offers a way to reconnect and to open these channels, specifically the pineal gland and also the heart space and many other spaces throughout your entire body. It activates this pineal gland, turning it on. And through this, we can access higher parts of ourselves, visions, creativity, intuition. Our dreaming changes. We're able to go into lucid dreaming states, problem solve. The pineal gland is a gateway to an enhanced state of connection and belonging. And really we feel a lot of, just deep connection through activating this space. And so the breath has the potential to do that. Now, another thing about the breath is it activates DMT. So maybe some of you have heard of that. DMT is an active component within our bodies, as well as some different plant medicines. And it's through DMT that we access these higher states. So oftentimes people that have DMT experiences have visuals. They have visuals of colors, shapes, people, whatever it is. And this also can happen to people in the breathwork experience, is going through this visual experience. And the most concentrated amount of DMT is actually in our lungs. And so when we breathe, we're opening these states, and it's very, very, impactful and really is deeply healing as well. So that is another possibility with the breath. And really, at the end of the day, it's awakening our power. Okay. So this is our power. Our true nature is these enhanced states of creativity, intuition, and tapping into the sixth sense of reality. And the breath can take you there and get you there and wake up the power that is already within you. Okay, and now we move into this last section, which is manifest. So we'll talk about the process of creation and creating a reality. And this is what I want to focus on tonight a little bit as we go into the breathwork journey, which we're going to be doing in just a little while. So the way that we create our reality we have a thought, we have a desire, we have an intention that pops in. That intention then leads to a vision, right? Whatever it is. So we'll take some examples tonight. I don't always really like to use material examples, but I feel like much of the manifestation realm is, talks about making more money or getting this house or whatever it is. And that's fine and great. But, really tapping into maybe an intention to step into this next level of your purpose. It's something that maybe you want to do in your life and you want to create. It could be writing a book, it could be whatever it is, and you really want to bring this experience into your reality. So you have this intention, you have this thought, and then perhaps you even see yourself doing it. You have a vision for what this could look like. So we go from the thought, the intention, the desire to the vision. And then through the vision, if we start to see some of what this could look like, we begin to feel everything about this experience. And I take people through this sort of vision codex process, which I use in my coaching clients, but, share a little bit about that tonight so you can access this. So really, once we have the vision, we get into feeling. What are the feelings around this? The feeling is probably the most important part of this process, is of the cultivation of bringing this vision to reality. Because you as a powerful soul can manifest anything, but in this human experience, things take time, right? So this is more of like the expedited process of being in the vision, being in the feeling, and doing this day in and day out. And then it's from the feeling that we begin to take action towards that, whatever that is. Writing a few words a day if you want to write a book. We're taking action. That's the signal to our higher self in the universe that we're ready and we're moving into action. And then we trust the process to happen. We move with a state of trust, knowing that it's already happened and feeling that trust within us, and then allowing it, which is oftentimes the most difficult part. It's letting go and allowing that process to happen in the time that it needs to happen. And that's oftentimes where we get caught up. If we want more money, for example, when we don't have much money in our bank account right now, we're always thinking about what we don't have. But instead, what about the experience that the reality that's already been created? It's just a matter of trusting it and allowing that to take place. So tonight, we're going to be moving more into that state of feeling. So what I would really encourage you to do is to really think about an intention that is present with you. And I want you to, and I'll guide you through this process in the beginning of the breath work. And then you go tap into the vision of what this intention is, what it is you want to create. And then through the breath, we're going to get into the feeling state of it. And this is the most important part, is you feeling it fully. And once you feel it fully, it's entering all of your cells. And we'll talk about a little bit about how this works with manifestation and breath work. So this is the process that we'll kind of embark on this evening. So when we breathe consciously, it opens our channels and allows us to connect with our vision, allows us to connect with our feeling. And this is where we're in a receiving state. So we receive, we open to whatever wants to move through us. We also release the subconscious beliefs that we have programmed within us, because we're carrying beliefs that are counterintuitive to what we want to create. And so the beliefs that we have, we can work with those within the breathwork space, specifically in the breath hold portion, which I'll explain in just a little while. That is when our subconscious is wide open and we can reprogram it from a theta state. It's very powerful. And I've seen people, like I have a testimonial from a guy not too long ago who was doing the breath work, regularly. And he said he manifested his dream house in Bali. I'm like, oh, amazing. That's awesome. And I started getting more messages. People having these wild synchronicities, getting this dream job or doing this, whatever their intention was, and literally like just rapid transformation. It was incredible to watch. It's just a rapid manifestation. And so it's really working with the feeling sense of the body, which is the most important sense that we have. And this is why the breath can help you to release, but also help you to call in. So we release in the first part, and then we start to call in. And once we begin to call in, we embed that in our cellular memory. We trust the process, we take action towards it, and we allow it to happen. And we express appreciation towards that. And through this process, this is, explained now in quantum physics. There's a lot of people out there. Again, I mentioned Joe Dispenza earlier. He talks about this, and like he's healed people that have been like blind. He does this breathwork practice with them, and like they're friggin' seeing again within a matter of days. So like this is a really I don't want this to be like over estimated in a way, and I want to speak direct to it. It's a very, very powerful process that we're embarking on when we use our breath in this way. So to be conscious about it is really, really important. So that is that. I know that was a lot in a very short amount of time. And so I want to respect if there's anything that, might be swirling through your head. Again, put it in the chat if you feel called. I'm not going to go too deep into two people, but I will explain just a little bit. So Swami Rama, this guy was an incredible man who did a lot of studies around the breath. In the 1970s, he was brought into a Kansas, I think it was University of Kansas, and they did these like hooked him up to these machines. He did these studies, and he was able to do some wild stuff. He was able to go into he was able to speed his heart rate up all the way to where, in a normal person, it would just explode. And then he was able to slow it all the way down where it was like he would be flatlined. And you would think that this person was dead, but he was in a deeply hypnotic, what they call yogic sleep state. And he went into this trance for like a half hour. And then he came out of it and he was able to recall all of what the people were saying in the room. He was like able to recall every single part of the conversation, but he was in this like in-between state, and he was using his breath to manipulate different parts. He was manipulating his brain waves and like going up and down the scale of brain waves to demonstrate that literally the breath controls everything. And when you can tap into it, amazing things happen. And he did so much more. Again, it's a whole story I'm not going to get into, but something you might want to look up. And then there's Wim Hof, who, if you know anything about Wim Hof, I mean, this guy's he's wild. He goes into, below freezing temperatures. He can stay in for 2 hours and regulate his breath and not drop it by a degree, even a degree, maybe 0.2 degrees. And it's just incredible to watch this happen. And this is all through just regulated breathing. So like physically and somatically, it shows you the power of this. I mean, he ran a friggin' a marathon in the desert without drinking water. He's climbed Mount Everest in his boxer shorts. This guy's like, just next level. Whatever you think about him, as a personality, it is what it is. But he is an incredible man who's done some wild things, like quite superhuman. Okay, so that was that. We're going to get into the breath work in just a second, but just want to leave you with this last quote. In a world full of doing, it's important to take a moment to just breathe, to just be. And so that is the moment that we're going to take now. Maybe just a little bit more than a moment. We'll be breathing for about 35 minutes or so. But I am excited to dive in with all of you. I hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of the presentation. I always find that when I do this is that you can now comprehend the power behind this, the why we're doing this. Having the experience itself, which we're going to do now, is great, but having that sort of mind of like wrapping around, like, okay, what is the power around this? It's really, I find it to really be really beneficial for everybody. So, I know some of you have already done my breath work, so I'm not going to go too deep into the spiel. I want you to experience it, but essentially we're going to be breathing together for 3 rounds. Breathing in a even 4/4 rhythm. We're going to be breathing in through our nose and out of our mouth. and just continuing connected breaths. You'll hear the breath sounds embedded in the music. You'll hear my voice guiding you over that. And the first round is 5 minutes, the second round is 5 minutes, and the last round is 9 minutes. So basically, I'll be guiding you through the whole thing. You're to breathe for, we'll open up with a little bit of a drop in, set our intention, go into the first round, and then you'll be moved into a breath retention phase in which I will instruct you to breathe all the way into the top. You're going to hold your breath for a moment, and then you're going to breathe all the way out and hold your breath at the bottom. This is the most important part of the breath work. This part of the breath work is where your subconscious is wide open. This is where you're in a receiving state. And this is where the self-healing mechanism of the body turns on. So this is when we can fully reprogram our subconscious. So if there is something that you want to say to yourself, an affirmation, a mantra, a whatever it is, a color of light, doesn't matter. Envision that within the breath hold on the way out, and we'll start to do the magic with the subconscious. And then we'll move into the next round, breath hold, and then the last round. And throughout this process, you may feel tingling, numbing, buzzing sensations in your hands, your feet. You may experience all different types of things. You may experience emotional release and where you want to clear anger, sadness, anything, crying, laughing, shaking, whatever it is. This is your opportunity. This is the time to clear it. And this is why this is such a transformative practice. If not, it might just be a super peaceful journey. You may not experience anything, but I can promise you something's working deep, deep on the subtle layers. The last thing I'll say is some people have tetany, which is locking of the hands and feet. This can be an uncomfortable sensation. It's the switching from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. It could be a very interesting process. Just breathe through it, and you won't be stuck like this forever. It will subside. And then again, some people have visions. Some people see color, shapes. The point is, and what I always say in every single one of these journeys is allow yourself to let go. And I know that's not an easy thing in a world where we want to control everything. Allow the breath to guide you. The breath will guide you into the different parts of the body that you're holding things. Just allow it to be released. Allow the mind to step back for a half hour and allow the breath to work on you. And through that process, things will begin to shift and transform for you. So what I would invite you now to do, we're going to be laying down. So you want to find a place where it's comfortable. You want to have headphones on you. And you want to just get yourself where your spine is pretty straight in order to move the energy up our central column, up our spine. And so don't be too elevated on a pillow. If you can find a flatter space to lay down, that is best. If you feel called, you can turn off your camera too. I don't need that on. I'm turning mine off, and we're just going to go inward and go on this journey together. And then after we're done, we'll come back and we'll recap. We are going to go a little past the scheduled time. We're at 7 o'clock now. So if you guys can stay through another 20 to 30 minutes, then I can promise you it will be worth it. So I'll see you guys on the other side and look forward to catching up after. Much love. And as you breathe, as you find yourself comfortable in this space now, I just want you to turn into your heart. Allowing this light to grow, to expand with every breath.
allowing the seeds of your intention to grow, to blossom with every inhale and every exhale. What is it that you're ready to let go of? What is it that you're ready to call forth? Breathing in, letting go. As you continue that breath, allowing this intention to move through every cell, every organ, every tissue. With this next breath, we're going to surrender it into the ground, into the bed, to the earth beneath us. Breathing in. This is your time to shift. This is your time to awaken. To heal. Transform. Tap in to your truth. Breathing in, breathing out. Together, on my count, we're going to begin the first round of rhythmic breathing to a 4/4 rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out. deep breath in as one. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. All the way up, 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 up. And hold. Squeezing your navel, pulling this energy all the way up to your crown, circulating the light. And release all the way up. Holding your breath, dropping into stillness. If you get the urge to breathe, take a sip of air in and out, continuing to hold. And together on my count, breathe in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Holding once more, releasing deeper and deeper into the earth beneath you. Feeling your edge. And together, on my count, we'll breathe in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Holding at the top, allowing this energy to rise and rise all the way up, 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 up. Squeezing. And releasing. As we move into our next round of deep rhythmic breathing, getting ready on my count. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's go. 3, 2. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. That's it. Stay with that breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Feeling your presence, allowing it to rise. This energy to breathe even deeper, to feel that fire in your soul. To feel that passion in your heart. That's it now. Where are you calling forth? Commanding it into your reality. Claiming your power. Together, on my count, we're going to breathe in. A few more breaths. And 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. Feel. Receive. 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. Feel. Receive. And release. All the way out. And hold your breath. Opening yourself up to the wisdom within. And together, take one deep breath as one on my count in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Begin our last and final round of rhythmic breathing. Getting ready to breathe. In 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. In, out, in, out, in, out. Going deeper and deeper than before. To be shed from your heart. Allowing yourself to fully feel, heal, and thrive. Allowing this breath to cleanse you. Invigorate you, to renew you back to wholeness, to peace, to love. That's it now. Moving your energy from the earth all the way up, 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 up. tapping into that potential. Into that greatness. That is ready to be unleashed. Keep going. You're safe. You're supported. To be you. Let's go. And breathing all that you are, all that you came here to be. Feel it now. Feel that heartbeat, that pulse of your aliveness. Feeling that breath moving deeper. You got this. Feeling that gratitude, that love, that prosperity, that abundance that is inherent within you. Let it roam free. Let it fill you up. That's it now. is all here for you right now. Last few breaths. Feeling your strength, your courage, your resilience, your humanness. Your light, your dark, and your freedom. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. Circulating that electricity, that energy all the way up. And release it. Let it go. Emptying, feeling the nothingness, the surrender. Together on my count, we'll breathe in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. Release. And together, on my count, we'll breathe in once more in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Turning back to your natural breath, turning back to your natural rhythm. Breathe in and breathe out. Just tune in to our heart space. Breathing in, breathing out. Offering a prayer of gratitude, of appreciation for ourselves, for our body, for our breath, and for life itself. May clarity shine through your mind. May love blossom in your heart. May wisdom shine from your soul. And together, we'll come back into a space to close out today's journey. If you feel called to stretch, to move, feel free to do that now. And I'll meet you back here. We'll just take our time. And as you come back in, we're just going to wrap up with a few words. Welcome back into this space, everyone. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to go within yourself, to go on this inner quest and to nourish yourself from the inside out, because it's when we go within and we pull out the weeds, we make space for all the prosperity, all of the power, the wisdom, the fulfillment, the freedom that is waiting for us. And it's through this process, through this deep somatic work, that we clear away everything to make space for the new you, for the authentic you to come forth. And I am just so excited to continue to lead these journeys. And before I let you go, I just want to share with you a really incredible opportunity that I am so excited for. I am launching another round of my signature experience called Ascend. This is a 40-day breathwork and somatic coaching experience to help you elevate yourself and your reality. And what you experienced today was just a very just a sneak peek into what's available for you through this transformative process of working with the breath. So, for 6 weeks, we are going to be meeting each week on Zoom as a group to really go through these somatic experiences. And I also use my coaching skills and gifts that I've gained over the years to be able to help you release any stagnant energy, emotions, limiting patterns, beliefs, stories, attachments, anything that you're hanging on to, so that we can cultivate that new you and allow your soul to fully shine forth. And it's when we begin to let go of the stress, the anxiety, the tension that we've been carrying, we are opening ourselves up to new vistas. We are opening ourselves up to that freedom, to that purpose, to that meaning that is within us. And I can confidently say, from everybody that's journeyed with me through this, they've had very, very powerful experiences and ones that have shifted all aspects of life, from relationships to business to health to wealth to everything. And so, if you feel the call, if you feel the resonance, I would love for you to join me. Not only will we be meeting every single week for these 40 days, you'll also be receiving workbooks, video tutorials, sound healing journeys, meditations, visualizations, everything you need to prosper and thrive. And so, for literally $8 a day, $8 a day, that's just a little bit more than your daily coffee. You can receive the benefits of a lifetime by joining this program. And I would love to have you in this space with me. And so, if you feel the call, you can head on over to beatsandbreath.com/ascend and check out all of the details, everything that's included, all of the beautiful testimonials from this experience, and enroll in your spot. We run this program a few times a year, and so we would love to see you there. And if you have any questions, you can absolutely reach out to me personally at hello@christopheraugust.co, at hello@christopheraugust.co. And I hope to see you on the other side. Much love. Peace.